50,000 Caspa versus 30,000 HBAR. Which one should you pick if you can only pick one? So if you like these two cryptos, or if you follow me, you know I like these two cryptos. I hold both of these two cryptos. I hold a crap ton of both of these cryptos. And as hard as this video is going to be to make, at the end of it, we're going to pick just one, because I know some of you, actually most of you, just like me, we work regular jobs. We have lifestyles where we can't just have thousands to throw at crypto. And sometimes, even if we want to invest into more than one crypto at a time, sometimes we only have the funds, time, and research to pick one at any given time. So if that's you, if you find yourself in this situation, we're going to try to help you figure this out. Or at least I'm going to, because I do like both of these cryptos. They're two of my favorite cryptos, but there is a clear winner for me. At the end of the day, if I was starting right now from scratch, day one, I had my $2,000 ready, which is how much you need to get these amounts in these cryptos at these current prices. Give or take. I know HBAR's up a little bit. So let's go over each one, some recent news or whatever we can talk about for each crypto, tokenomics, stuff like that, the team, and then we'll go from there and try to find the answers. So let's start with Caspa. So Caspa recently broke a new all-time high when it hit over 4 cents and a quarter. It actually hit over 5 cents August 5th. So actually a little less than a month ago, August 5th, it went over 5 cents. And then it's cooled back down. They are increasing their circulating supply. This is great. They have an emission schedule. Caspa is proof of work, so it gets mined. So they keep mining it and putting it into circulation. And a lot of the miners, contrary to what a lot of people believe, are not just dumping it, selling it, and buying like McDonald's or pizza. Like we saw with that Bitcoin years ago, right? When someone was trying to buy it with pizza, like Domino's Pizza. They're actually mining it, buying it, and they're holding it. And it reflects in the tokenomics. So the tokenomics are two metrics, right? It's the circulating supply to the fully diluted supply, or total supply. So it's whatever is not yet in circulation versus what's in circulation, but it also determines the team too. Do they have an ICO? If so, how much percentage of the supply is allocated towards the team or private investors or whatever, right? So tokenomics plays two factors, okay? Their tokenomics are amazing because they have 71% of their 28.7 billion total supply in circulation. So less than 30% inflation rate. They're fairly launched, so there's no team that's holding a large allocation of supply. This is significant because when you see rallies, and just check the year chart to reflect it, right? When they rise up like this for Caspa, it doesn't come down like this and then go right down the gutter. It goes like this, comes down, consolidates, goes up a little bit, comes down, and it doesn't come down that far. So if you saw the recent quote-unquote crash for Caspa, you're probably like, oh man, it's a proof of stake crypto. It's like every other proof of stake crypto. It's going to go tank down. That's not the case. It's proof of work, first of all. And secondly, TXBit, one of the top holders for Caspa and had Caspa, is literally closing shop. An exchange is closing shop. So no shit, they're going to offload their Caspa and sell it. So that's why you saw more selling pressure than usual, alongside the panic of retail with the home alone faces probably selling it because they had to get out. So that just happened like a week and a half ago. They're closing shop in September. So expect more of a selling pressure. Right now it looks like it's over, but you could see it dip a little bit. But if you're confusing that because, some other person on here is like, it's going to zero. It's not the case at all, guys. It's proof of work. And that's something that I love about Caspa too, proof of work. There's a lot of, and someone pointed this out in my last video with Algorand. There's an agenda with climate, right? Climate change and how there's facts are like, what's the word? Skewed, like where they want you to believe a certain thing. And listen, I totally get it. Politics influence the market heavy. That's why I hate watching the news. My parents always watch the news, and I always tell them it sucks because they literally try to get you to be afraid of leaving your house. Just be in your bubble. Don't do anything until we tell you to do. Be afraid of your own shadow. I'm not joking. The news is it's so toxic. So I agree with those people when they said that, the climate change is agenda driven. Just being out here in the real world, though, it does seem like it is getting hotter every single year. I'm not complaining. Winters here are freezing. I hate the cold. but it does seem like temperatures are getting warmer. So it's not up to what I believe or you believe on proof of stake, proof of work, and the climate. It's what the politicians believe and ultimately what the people believe. And the people are going to believe what the majority say up here because most people are sheep. They don't have a brain for themselves, unfortunately. So it does play a factor. But even with that being said, I still am in favor of proof of work. I like proof of work because that is the true meaning of decentralization, which means no single entity or person can control Caspa. It's very important. Someone's going to say, oh, what about the mining pools? The mining pools is one thing, right? They control the emission schedule. They don't control the entire supply to change the code, change the consensus, say, hey, 28.7 billion, that's just the beginning. Let's get 10 trillion coins. We're going to turn this into Pepe 5.0. No, guys, proof of work means exactly that. Truly decentralized. It's scalable tech too. Caspa uses what's called a block DAG, which is a first of its kind. HBAR uses a DAG, which is also first of its kind. They both use different techs. However, HBAR now has some competition with the DAG. Caspa, I did see some newer cryptos come out that are using block DAGs, but it's really no competition. The founder behind Caspa too, which is also significant, is Jonathan Sampolinsky, one of the most smartest, well-respected computer engineers in the space. And if you don't know his resume, I highly encourage you, look it up. He's in Ethereum's white paper. He designed the Ghost DAG protocol. He literally had a hand in the big part of tech for crypto. Not just Ethereum, the entire market. He's a big player in this market. And him being behind Caspa is huge. Like, it's in the best hands possible. To this day, a lot of people still think Jonathan is the real Satoshi, or at least one of the Satoshi Nakamoto's. Whether you want to believe it or not, we're always going to see this legend theory. If that was ever confirmed, that's crazy, guys. Like, and the reason why I'm not dismissing that notion at all is because when I look at Caspa being a peer-to-peer, trying to be a digital silver cash to Bitcoin's digital gold, it's taken the reins from Bitcoin. What Bitcoin was originally created to do but failed to do, and is now doing it with a faster, more scalable tech, while being proof of work still. So it's essentially, and this is where a lot of people get the confusion, it's essentially Bitcoin 2.0, but not because it's trying to be a store of value like Bitcoin, but because it's doing what Bitcoin's original mission was, and it's taking it one step further. So think of it as the silver to Bitcoin's gold. Bitcoin, we already know it's failed as a peer-to-peer. Is it the slowest in the world? No. I mean, you can send Bitcoin. It may take anywhere from 10 minutes, a few minutes, to sometimes an hour, depending where you're going to send it. Obviously, you're not going to use Bitcoin to buy coffee at Starbucks and just stand there like an idiot at the register saying, oh, yeah, it's going through, it's going through. Like, you're not going to do that. Obviously, Bitcoin failed to do that. Caspa is trying to do that. It's trying to be a physical cash. And I can't remember the news I covered recently, but I know a top payment company recently adopted Caspa or added them as payments. So that was huge. And listen, we still have all the exchange listings taking place. The tier ones, Crypto.com, Gemini, Binance, Kraken, Coinbase, 5 exchanges. And even with this run up of Caspa, it's still under $1 billion market cap. It's 853 million start this video. I mean, if you put the full diluted market cap in circulation, it probably brings it to just $1 billion or slightly over it. So it's still a small cap. I do see a lot of comments saying, oh, I missed it. Again, if you see Caspa like buying Ethereum or buying Bitcoin at a sub 1 billion market cap, would you think those two cryptos were too expensive back then? Of course not. You'd be an idiot to say that, especially today when you see the prices. And I'm not saying Caspa is going to be $100. But I definitely know it's going to be more than 4 cents. Not even just 2030, but 2025. I think it's going to be over $1 this bull cycle alone. Tokenomics are great. The supply is not as large as many people make it out to be. 28.7 billion. Yeah, it's not digital gold, but that's not the initial mission for Caspa. It's not trying to be gold. It's trying to be cash, peer-to-peer. But in the grand scheme of things, it's not 40 billion. It's not 50 billion. It's not 100 billion. 28.7 with already over 70% circulation, minimal inflation, a lot of good price action coming for Caspa. Now let's talk HBAR, Hedera HBAR, priced over 6 cents. It had a rally because FedNow is using them as payment. which Fed now is being integrated with so many different cryptos, especially the ISO cryptos. And Hedera HBAR is trying to be the go-to enterprise ledger for the ISO standards. So you're talking about a ledger that uses a different tech, like I said, a DAG, which is different than a block DAG. A block DAG for Caspa has some principles of blockchain technology integrated within a DAG. Their DAG is different, which is a directed acyclic graph, if I'm saying it correctly. They use what's called a hash graph consensus, which think of a blockchain like this. This is actually pretty cool, right? And the thing with blockchains, a lot of blockchains sacrifice one of three things when trying to do the trilemma. They got scalability, decentralization, security, right? Hedera HBAR, although they're not the most decentralized because they only have 28 governing council members, they are scalable and they are secure. Their hash graph consensus is randomized. So when they do a transaction, which is extremely fast, by the way, if you don't believe me, just check out their transactions rate. They were recently the top ledger in the entire space, and they probably still are. They crossed over 17 billion transactions. It tells you right here what the current transaction rate is. So right now they're over 1,600 TPS, just right now, and this is on the mainnet. But they can be a lot more scalable than that. And they already crossed over 18 billion. Ridiculous, guys. And this is ridiculous. They just keep growing, keep transacting. And if you're wondering why there's so many transactions going through HBAR, you should know by now, especially if you follow me. It's because they have a fixed fee structure, tenth of a penny. So if HBAR is 5 cents, 10 cents, a quarter, a dollar, it's always a tenth of a cent. This is important. When you think of an enterprise, you think of a business. What do businesses want to do? They want to make as much money as possible, profits, and they want to cut back on expenses as much as possible. How are they going to do that in crypto with ledgers? Hedera HBAR. This is why it's one of my favorite cryptos, because it's doing what businesses want to do. And as a utility-based investor, when I think of the future, when I think of where the big money is going to go, they're going to go for ledgers like this. Hedera HBAR. You ever wondered why they say, hello, future? It's because they're future-proof. No other crypto company is using Hashgraph. And Hashgraph, the reason why I like it more than blockchain, at least more than blockchains I see today, is because they don't just shut down. If they get a bad transaction, a bad actor, a blockchain has to either pass it or reject that transaction. Otherwise, they got to either shut down the network, which Solana did when they got too many bots overloading their blockchain, or they have to fork the blockchain, which means split it and have to erase the history. Hedera, with the hash graph consensus, because it's randomized, it's literally like this. If I find a picture, I'll put it up there. It provides infinite scalability with security, which is not what we've seen with many blockchains. Because blockchains, to be truly scalable, at least what we've seen so far to date, they usually lack security in the process. So Hedera, it fixes what blockchains have been lacking. The only thing they don't have is true decentralization because they only have 28 governing council members. But again, it's not as centralized as everyone thinks. 28 massive companies. Google, IBM, Boeing, Dell, to name a handful. Do you think they just have a CEO? No. They got a whole team, a CFO, a CEO, probably got a board. They got at least 10 people on their team. So if you think 28 times 10, that's at least around 300 people that all have equal say on what happens with Hedera, with HBAR. So yes, it's proof of stake, which I don't like as much as proof of work. However, when I think of the future, what the big players want, and listen, I hate politics. I told you guys I hate politics. I hate the news. But I know the masses want to see a proof of stake consensus crypto, at least for enterprise use. Hedera HBAR, because it's carbon negative, no carbon emissions for the environment, so it's climate friendly, it's scalable, it's a fixed fee structure, so essentially it's cheap to use, easy to use, has great partnerships already. There's really nothing stopping HBAR from being mass adopted. There really isn't. It has first mover advantage for its technology because no other company is using Hashgraph. It was patented. I'm not sure if it still is. That I actually don't know. But their 18 billion transactions speak for itself. They just keep transacting. And I just don't see enterprises and businesses not using HBAR. Not even just today, but in the future. Hence their slogan, Hello Future. I really do see Hedera HBAR shocking a lot of people this bull cycle and next bull cycle. I'm telling you guys right now, 6 cents, you are not going to see that 6 cents for long. The other day, they were outperforming the entire top 100. I think it was yesterday or 2 days ago. The entire top 100, they outperformed. And that was all throughout this time while people were calling them a bad investment, scam, whatever, they were doing the best. So, they're letting their actions speak for itself. They're not big with marketing, but what ISO crypto is big with marketing, right? But this is the definition of utility, hence why I'm very bullish on HBAR. Now let's get to the tokenomics. So they have similar tokenomics when it comes to the supply. However, they have a 50 billion coin cap versus Caspa's 28.7 billion. Why is this significant? Because when it comes to price action, for HBAR to get to $1 and Caspa to get to $1, they're going to be much different market caps. Caspa is going to have an easier time because there's less of a market cap to get there. So this is where Caspa has the edge over HBAR when it comes to market cap and tokenomics. Proof of work means truly decentralized. HBAR, proof of stake, and had an ICO. They have a large percentage allocated to the team. I don't know what the actual numbers are. I'm going to look it up here on camera in a minute. But they did have an ICO. So this suppresses the price action from two standpoints. The larger 50 billion supply is going to be harder to reach a certain number versus Caspa's 28.7 billion, but also their tokenomics when it comes to price action, the team is most likely going to take profits at some point, whether it's to make money themselves or to fund their ecosystem, which they're allowed to do. They're supposed to do it. They're companies, they're CEOs. Let them take profits. Otherwise, why the hell would they start a company? So I want to stop that stupid notion that people are saying, oh my God, the team's dope, and I can't believe it. They're CEOs, guys. Would you not expect Apple or any stock company to not take profits? So why the hell would a proof of stake crypto company not be allowed to take profits? It's ridiculous. They can take profits. But in reference to what I'm saying here is it could suppress the price action a little bit. So Caspa, where it goes like this at times, HBAR might go like this and then come down and then go up, which we've been seeing. It literally hit over 7 cents with the Fed Now news, and then it came back down to right at the 6 cent mark, and then now it's going back up. So it's more volatile. Now, they are a 2 billion market cap. When you put the full diluted 50 billion in circulation, which they have 66%, so they do have slightly more inflation in Caspa, but not the full, only a few points more. It's not a very significant amount, but the fully diluted market cap puts it more into a mid cap. So Caspa is more of a small cap, HBAR is more of a mid cap. So the potential for growth, Caspa has a little more potential for faster growth because it's a smaller market cap, like I said. Now let's see what their tokenomics are like when it comes to the team, because I am curious too. I did see an image previously. I wanted to see if I can pull it up here. They have 14% to the founders, 8% to Swirls, which is the labs. Okay, so that's 22%. Ecosystem development, 24%, so that's 48% now. Pre-minted treasury, so 48 plus 32%. That's 58, 68, 78. Okay, 80%. And then 4% to the employees, 85%. Okay, so they have roughly 85% to the team private investors. So tokenomics when it comes to the ICO is not good for HBAR. You cannot argue that fact, but that doesn't stop it from being bullish. The only thing you got to be concerned about when it comes to these tokenomics, which is who's holding the supply, is when to get out. So if you're holding HBAR, don't say, great, I'm going to hodl to $20. Like, this is where you got to look at the previous all-time high and say, okay, where can I look to get out or take profit before they do, before private investors do? Because if you wait for 100x, remember, they have millions of dollars invested. They're already millionaires. For them, a 10x on $1 million is $10 million. So keep that in mind. Now, I'm not saying they're going to dump it and it's going to go to zero, but you're going to see what you're seeing now, right? Where HBAR goes to like 7 cents, comes back down. So you're going to see more volatility to the up and down side. So just keep that in mind. It's not a horrible thing. Obviously, you expect this with any proof of stake crypto. but the tokenomics on that side is pretty bad. Their all-time high was around 57 cents, I believe. So their chart is not that bad. I know some people say, oh, the chart looks pretty rugged. It's less than a 10x down. And this is while Bitcoin's 26K. If Bitcoin is roughly a 3x down, and this is a small cap, mid cap, and it's 8x down, that's pretty much on par. Like, what would be more concerning is if H bar was like 2 cents right now, 3 cents. Then I'd be like, okay, what the hell's going on here? I'd be very concerned. But 6 cent H bar, 57-cent all-time high, which is 10, 9, 8x, whatever. It's on par with most of the top 100. Almost every altcoin that has H bar's market cap size is down about this much, except for Quant. Quant is just a beast of its own. But now, all this aside, let's decide which one's the better crypto. And spoiler alert, it is Kaspa. As much as I love both, as much as I love the H bar. And I know H bar is going to have more adoption quicker because they already have the institutions and governing council just continuously growing, and their fixed fee structure and scalable tech is very hard to ignore. Kaspa just being proof of work, having a smaller market cap, a smaller supply, less inflation, and newer tech that's more closely aligned to blockchain technology while still being a DAG, a block DAG, I actually prefer Kaspa a little bit more. And in terms of price action, like I said, 28.7 billion Kaspa versus 50 billion H bar. Kaspa could definitely outpace H bar this bull run. And then not to mention this too, H bar, it just got listed on Coinbase during a bear market last year. So it's still going to have the effect, but when it comes to a catalyst-based investment, Kaspa has 5 exchanges to get on. So in terms of it riding up, it definitely has more of a chance to ride up faster. But I do think both are going to do very well. But if I had to pick one today, from day one, from scratch, I would pick 50K Kaspa over 30K H bar. But I would still look to get both. I would just focus on Kaspa first. By the way, if you want to reach out to me, talk to me, see how crypto I'm buying, selling, trading, or just join a like-minded support group of both beginner and advanced investors, feel free to join my Patreon and Discord. I'll leave a link in the pinned comments down below. It would be awesome to see there. But now I want to hear from you. Which one of these two crypto would you pick if you can only pick one? And what is your reason for picking that crypto? Drop your comment down below and let me know. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like. Really helps so much. That being said, I hope you have a great day and I'll see you in the next video.